Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much on your own terms. Special shout out, of course, to our Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us on that platform. We really do appreciate, love you. And for all of you who continue buying our single, Change My Mind, and our ringtones, that's another way to support the movement. And we really appreciate, love you for that. Absolutely amazing, family. So much going on. I'm reporting live and direct, family, from the Dr. Mumbi Healing Center, if you want to call it that, Wholeness Center. We haven't quite decided on a name, but that's the basic theme. And we look forward to inviting you to this place of peace, to this place of restoration, to this place of nature where just sitting under a tree can really help you heal many things that, going to a shrink won't. But those are stories for other days. Family, I've gotten many requests, and also many angry emails from you guys talking about how the divided states is going back to the Jim Crow laws. And I kind of saw this story, but I didn't look into it, but I'm looking into it now, where they said that basically in Mississippi, there's a place called, is it Jacksonville or so? Jackson downtown. And so they're saying that in a move reminiscent of the state's racist Jim Crow laws of the late 19th and 20th centuries, Mississippi House lawmakers recently passed a bill allowing an all-white panel of state officials to appoint unelected judges and prosecutors in the city of Jackson. And the big controversy here is that Mississippi is known to be one of the most racist, most prejudiced, what are they? No, they're not counties. What is it? The governor, whatever. The state, sorry. One of the most, I drew a blank. Because in the new earth, we don't have all that nonsense. In the new earth, it's free borders, free whatever. If the spirit needs you in Australia, you'll find yourself in Australia. Whether you have a passport, whether you don't have a passport, whatever the situation, whatever you need to maintain. That's how we're moving. That's why I'm saying move into spiritual time and this stuff becomes irrelevant. But the state, so Mississippi State has always been known as one of the most racist. There's been so many crimes committed. I think recently there was a young man who was killed in Tennessee. And, there's been a lot of police brutality and stuff. So when they say that they're moving to a system of governance, because this is like downtown in the city of Jackson City or whatever. If they say that they're moving to a governance where Mzungu state officials will now run this town, and they will be electing the judges and the prosecutors. Already the people know that they're not going to call, they're not going to get justice. That's why they're calling it the Jim Crow laws. And for you guys, for many of my African brothers and sisters who may not know what Jim Crow laws are, please, I encourage you, family, to look for the Jim Crow letter. It is something that I shared on Patreon for my Patreon family. I'll definitely just share it again as I share this story. Look for the Jim Crow letters and read it for yourself, because the Jim Crow letters, it was a formula of how to break in a slave, how to mentally break someone. And they used the same method that they used to break a horse. And to, the stallions, and how they break the stallion and make the stallion submit with all kinds of violence and shattering the psyche and everything, so that they're left in so much fear that they literally become like a robot or a slave. And it's really, I wasn't even able to read all of it, family. It really affected me. In the season that I read it, it will really help you to understand our African and American brothers and sisters in such a deeper way. And it hurts, but sometimes we just have to acknowledge the pain our ancestors went through, just to acknowledge, because even they've been denied even that, family. But one thing for me, when I got this story, I saw, of course, they're creating smart cities across the divided states. So there's a lot that's been happening to move people out of the cities, and there's a lot that will be happening to move people out of the cities with all kinds of events and things happening. And what people have to realize is that the fight for independence was not a fight it was not a fight to leave the British crown in the divided states. It was a fight over whether people should have slaves or not. And it's still an issue. There are still people today who believe they should have slaves, who want that, who have that really low mentality family, who are descendants of the slaves. The bloodline is still running deep with those kind of ideologies. And the divided states is a white supremacist nation. And we're seeing the end of the divided states because we're seeing the end of white supremacy. And there's all these people in the comments who say, stop lying to your people, white supremacy is not ending. Really? It's not even supremacy. It's an infantile kind of thinking that is so aggressive that has overridden even higher vibrational beings because they're like, what the sugar is going on here? And I lived in the divided states. I lived in Chicago, family. I loved the culture of the South Side, of our people. But it was a place, I was so happy to leave the divided states when I left because it's a white supremacist country. You either bow to white supremacy and make it, or you will not make it. And they have engineered the system to work in their favor. Whether the slavery laws are there or not, it's still a slave society. And we know all this. So what really surprises me about my beloved African American brothers and sisters is this Stockholm syndrome. You're always shocked when the white supremacy face shows itself, but it's always there. They're the ones who will be politely smiling in your face and they hate you. Your skin color makes them sick. They fantasize of what their slave master descendants did to your women and all this kind of stuff. Nasty people, family. These are the people who are running the government. These are the people who are running the divided states. So what do you expect? There will be no reparations that will ever be paid, family. They'll keep you in this cycle. If they'd wanted to pay it, they'd have paid it. You saw how the Asians or whoever, they got there in a twinkle of an eye. They were paid off their whatever. I don't know if it was reparations or what they were given when there was that violence incident against the Asians, I think last year or the year before. If they'd wanted to pay you, they'd have done it. If they'd wanted to give you justice, they'd have done it. You will never get justice. And I know I get so much hate mail when I release videos like this, but family, you're never going to get the justice unless you seek it spiritually first. But they will always be doing these moves, these cloak and dagger and all this nonsense with their laws. Because it's all these laws and agreements that bind the energy and bind your energy. And it's even because obviously it's almost like they're returning to colonialism or slavery. That's what people have been saying. This thing has gone so viral. But why are you surprised, family? You know by now, I always feel our African American brothers and sisters are the only ones who truly know the enemy, who truly understand the enemy of the black man. Inside and out, because where I'm living, family, it is partly a vacation town. And so you'll see that there's a lot of Mzungu worship and everything is idealized, The black, well, not all of them, but the people of poverty mentality, please watch the video that I do on poverty mentality. It's so critical. Idolize and worship these people. They feel the Mzungus are the ones who will give them this and give them that. They do not understand the nature of the reality we're in. But African American family, if you guys aren't going to come together, it's not going to happen. And stand in solidarity and unite yourselves. And they've done everything to make sure it's not. They keep taking out your leaders. They keep, cutting the movement at the feet, hijacking it. Like Black Lives Matter was so massive. And then it ended up being some, lesbo vibe. Feminist vibe. And they always trick you with these movements and with these star-studded kind of, declarations, but nothing happens. Even in Africa, we're looking too much with this and nothing happens. We need to be getting together under trees, in forests, calling on our ancestors and weeping for justice for what was done to them. Otherwise, what goes around always comes around, family. And they say history has a way of repeating itself because these people are not creative. They went from physical slavery where they were beating people, putting bottles up women, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, to breaking people in like horses, like animals, to wage slavery where now it became a psychological and a mental break-in, gaslighting, narcissistic behavior, all these things, to now where it's becoming artificial intelligence, where artificial intelligence is going to be the new slave master. And they're risking it all to get us under this AI society. But it's all about their agreements. And there are certain parts of the divided states that they want back in their control, or where they've always had a stronghold and now they're coming back to express themselves. Set yourselves free, my family. And the only way you're going to do that, is by really seeing the enemy for who they are, the games they play for who they are. Stop making excuses for them. They really are as messed up as we all think they are. And look at ways where you can come together, or you can move into communities of people that look like you or think like you that are together. Because it's kind of game over now. And those that have to fall will fall. But those who are meant to make it are going to be just fine. Tuko pamoja.
It's time to rise and shine. Time to get what's mine, yeah. And I want it all, beyond the riches of the world, to the promises of God.